Hey guys, Youngblood with you, and today I just wanted to let you all know that if you didn't see my tweet from a little while back, I got my 2017 referral, which means that I officially get to add a Javelin to my fleet. Now, first off, for those of you that used my referral code, thank you so much. Being able to get a ship of this stature for not me having to kick anything in other than my time and efforts on the channel has been really nice to see. I'm also aware that there were many of you that were around before the referral program was a thing, and with that in mind, I still appreciate the support on the channel, even though referrals just weren't a thing back at the time, which I know there's some people that are heated about that, and I get it. I wanted to make a quick video, though, just to basically share some of the new things I'm doing with my referrals from this point, but also just some Javelin hype, considering I haven't talked about the ship in a while, and frankly, it's one of the cooler ships in the game, and now that I have one, I am a little bit more excited about it. If you're unfamiliar with it, the Javelin is the largest player-owned ship in the verse, and it is a true capital ship. In today's nautical world, or at least in recent times, destroyers are typically escort ships for larger vessels, as they typically are going to be a little bit faster and more capable of dealing with smaller threats. At some point, they were designed to really bring along torpedoes to deal with other torpedo vessels, and to help deal with the larger and slower ships being threats in those scenarios. Now, most recently, with most countries not really running full-size battleships, the destroyers became the real surface combat ships in the navies around the world, and I think that's probably the closest related ship that we have to the inverse Javelin. Now, keep in mind, I am not a naval historian, so all of that may not be perfect, but that's kind of my level of understanding of where things are at. The only ships that we really know of in the verse that are larger at this point are the Bengal, which is a carrier, the Pegasus, which is an escort carrier, and the singular ship that is a dreadnought known as the Retribution, which may not even make any appearances in the multiplayer world, as it's only really being created and is likely going to make its debut in Squadron 42's second chapter. Now, what makes the Javelin different from those, though, is that you can actually persistently own a Javelin. You can claim it on insurance. You can log out and have it waiting for you when you get back. While the carriers, if you are actually able to capture one, are more like universe persistent ships, meaning if you find one, you don't permanently own it. You can repair it, you can fix it up, you can log off. It stays in place, meaning that someone could theoretically walk on and steal it from you, really making them more of like an organizational, around-the-clock commitment to keep one of these running for an extended period of time, and it really is only going to be practical for large ships that have a global, or large organizations that have a global presence. The Javelin, in my mind, is kind of a mix between a true destroyer and a cruiser, and maybe a bit of a battleship. The weaponry on the ship, which is likely ever-changing, is that it's supposed to have 32 size 12 torpedoes, which, if you compare that to the Polaris, that has 28 size 10 torpedoes, so the Javelin actually wins in the torpedo category in number of torpedoes and size. It also brings along a lot more kind of class-bending weaponry as well. Dotted along the sides of the ship, you have 10 total manned turrets with 2 size 5 or 6 weapons. I've seen documentation on both. Plus another turret on the bottom rear of the ship for coverage. This is going to be the closest thing to a broadside type of vessel that we can actually own in the game. Now, in addition to that, you have a remote ship-to-ship turret on the top rear of the ship, which has two size 8 weapons on it, meaning that you're entering a whole new class of firepower with weapons of that size. Now, since it's supposed to come in at 480 meters long, and we know ships have kind of habits of growing, it's already more than twice as long as an 890 jump, and it does have small hangar on board. Now, that hangar is a little bit interesting to see because it was initially designed to fit one Redeemer to be able to drop troops. But now that's likely changing, considering the Redeemer's fallen off the roadmap into oblivion, and they've replaced the drop abilities of that ship and making it more of a gunship. You're seeing that the Vanguard is taking on really that role. Although you could potentially see the Valkyrie kind of step up and get into that category. But in the initial documentation, there's a lot of ships that are supposed to fit, mostly being one fighter as of now. Though you can generally, get multiple different configurations of ships on board hangars like we've seen in the Carrack and the 890, depending on how creatively you can land. Now, I'm personally really pumped to pull this sexy beast out. I want to fill it with a bunch of free labor, even though I expect it to cost an arm and a leg to operate, meaning that I'm going to be leveraging organizational support to kind of supplement the cost of operating. So an early thank you to all the PXP members who I'm going to be forcing into paying my Javelin operating taxes through, taxes. I'm mostly kidding. I'm kidding. For now. Aside from the Javelin hype, though, I've reached the top tier in the referral program, and honestly, I don't see CIG adding more above this point. They're already giving away the largest ship that you can actually own. So my gut says that a huge milestone like this, that frankly only people that take out ads or content creators that actually have a chance to get it. So I think we're going to probably see that start to be kind of stagnant, or maybe they add in lower number rewards. So what I've implemented is a code randomizer that supporters of my channel from Patreon can provide me with their referral codes, which I then add into the randomizer. Basically, it's a way that I can hopefully give something back to those that are financially supporting the channel as well. Now, that's partly informational, but it's also a semi-blatant reminder that I do have a Patreon page out there. I do have a link in the description of all of my videos, and as well as the end screen of all of my videos. And now there's a little bit more value in what it actually offers. So if you like what I do and you want to kick back a bit and potentially get some referrals out of it, jump on in. The other benefit is there you can primarily get exposure to myself in my Discord for patrons only, as well as the other, knowledgeable people and other space nerds that reside in there as well. It's a really good community. Now, I'm not promising anybody a Javelin out of this, obviously. It took me 3 years to, or so to get 2017 referrals, but at the moment I only have 17 codes in there, so you've got a pretty good shot at picking up a few more. More than anything, though, if you do decide to support, I want you to do it because you appreciate the work, not just for a lottery shot at getting something out of it. Though, frankly, I'll take your money for whatever reason. So that's basically this video here. Thanks again for the continued support over the years. Getting a Javelin out of this has been a really cool perk for myself and has kind of been a in-game reward for the time and efforts I've spent making videos, which is really, really cool. Once the Javelin is in-game, you can bet your butt that I will be covering that ship in a lot of detail and have a lot of videos coming out of it in action, as well as probably calling for crew members at times as well. So that's it for now. I appreciate you guys watching. Stay tuned for more coming soon with 3.9 looming on the horizon. Take care and stay safe out there, guys.